Jeffrey makes women feel uncomfortable. He messages them creepy shit, mouth breathing. Adonis, on the other hand, women admire Adonis. He makes them feel safe, but he also makes them feel nervous, and that's a good thing. Jeffrey is like the kind of guy who sends a dick pic to your sister, and then he blows up her phone swearing at her and being mean and horrible. We hate guys like Jeffrey. I've worked one full-time job in my entire life. It was customer service in a complaints department, and I only worked there for around 6-7 weeks. Yet every week, there would be at least one woman who would take one of these calls, literally just stand up with tears down her face and like have to run off to the toilet, and maybe 1 or 2 girls would go with her to try and help her. They would get abuse, like harassed. This kind of shit only really happened to me like once with one guy who was like, you know, being mean to me, and he was like saying shit, but like to be honest, I was leaving the company very, very soon, so I was saying shit back. I was just like, no, it was kind of equal, right? So I never experienced like being uncomfortable by someone. And this was actually, I think, one of the managers who this happened to when I saw this, right? She actually told everyone to listen to the call. So all calls are recorded these days in customer service, and you can like listen to it. So we all started listening to it. And she's speaking to what I assume / remember would be probably like a 45-year-old man. He kind of sounds like he had low testosterone. Like he didn't sound like a fucking, like, you know, like big confident voice. He wasn't a happy person or anything. He was just a fucking like creep. And so they're speaking about like the company, or, you know, he wants a refund or all this bullshit. He's being like, you know, a bit rude. And then out of nowhere, when she's speaking, the guy on the phone just says, "I bet you have nice tits." And so I hear my colleagues say like, what? Excuse me? Like, no, please don't speak to me like that. And he goes on and on and on. Now, technically you're not supposed to like hang up on the customer like almost with anything. Like you're supposed to do the shit of like, oh, but sir, if you carry on, then I'm gonna have to hang up and I'm gonna have to report. Like you have to say that type of shit, right? When you work for daddy, like when you work in a f***ing company, like you have to follow. Obviously, like, let's be honest, like she should have just hung up, right? But no, I'm not even blaming her. I'm just saying, like, for me personally, this is almost my rant for just I just hate full-time jobs. I hate fucking companies. I hate this bullshit of like, you've got to follow rules and you're not allowed to fist bump. It's just stupid shit, right? That's a side rant. This is why you've got to become an entrepreneur and like be your own daddy. But she was obviously very, very uncomfortable with this, and it was just a like, I can't, that's the only phrase that I can remember, like, for 100% fact. He said, "I bet you have nice," like, in a creepy way. And he just kept on, like, describing it, and, like, I'm not gonna lie, bro, I have, like, a big stomach for this kind of shit, right? I'm not, like, easily made uncomfortable. I truly, truly felt uncomfortable. Like, I felt so sick, like, for her, and I was like, what the f***? You are so much better than that guy. You are so much better than the Jeffreys who make women feel uncomfortable. And we've got to like break this down and do an analysis of these weird, creepy motherfuckers. What type of person would this be? Actually think to yourself. We know 100% for a fact that this is going to be a wanker. There's a guy who watches porn. 100% this guy. He's not on f***ing NoFap or anything. He watches porn. He possibly could have a wife, but he's not having sex. It's the type of shit like they might have sex like f***ing once a year or some bullshit like that. Like if he's been good. We don't need to get specific, but in all round, this is a low value man who did the wrong shit. He partied during the best years of his life in his 20s, and he went out with the lads, take some drugs, drink a lot, probably racist. These motherfuckers who like drink a lot and they're just fat. They're always racist, bro. Guys who go to the pub, oh, fucking cringe, bro. What a disgusting human being, honestly. That's like someone who's like like the way that I can see it in my mind is that's someone who's almost like sheltered in like he's hidden, he's underneath a fucking cave, he's like hidden from society in his dark little room, and he like doesn't even need to like delete his internet history anymore. That's the type of guy he is. Like he'll jack off to like some like pretty messed up porn, and he won't even clear his internet history anymore because he's too far past caring. And so when a guy like that interacts with a woman, especially something like online or over the phone, he almost, just for the sake of a level of reaction, will act in a very creepy way. And it's a very, very, very similar dynamic to that of the guys who donate to girls on Twitch, except those guys are more like simpy. They're like weirdly obsessive, whereas this guy's weirdly like hateful. But it's the same dynamic for both. It's the low value men of society who have absolutely no attraction from women in the real world. They have done all of the wrong things. Do you think this guy's ever meditated? Do you think he's ever wrote down something that he's grateful for? There's no way that he has good mental health. The worst way that you can interact with a woman is that which makes her feel harassed. Because not only for the sake of like society and her feelings have you made someone just feel awful, but even if, let's just say you just want to be selfish, you just care about your own thing, right? You are almost like an autistic analyst in the sense that you only think about, okay, what's going to be the highest success rate. The thing is, that's actually low ROI. Like if you interact with a woman in this way and you send her a dick pic when she's not asked for one, and you say creepy shit. Not only is she unattracted to you, but word spreads around and people realize that you are that creepy motherfucker. And that brand image that you get does not go away. People will remember if you're a creepy and they should. What good can we do for this guy? There's certain men who are too far gone. There's men who will laugh in our face if we try to get them onto self-improvements. These are the deep Jeffreys. That is the pathway if you go down bad and you never pull yourself back up. And there are hordes of men heading in that direction. It is your responsibility to make sure that you're not one of them, to make sure that you keep up your mental health, to make sure that you stay as a kind person. Do not be a nice guy, like the quote, nice guy, but be a nice man. Be a kind man. Be a generous man who gives back to your loved ones and your community. If you want to say like some sexual shit to a girl, do it when you're having sex with her. That is the time where you can say some like anything you want that would be seen as maybe like harassing or creepy or, you know, too sexual at any other given point. But if you're literally having sex with a woman, yeah, you can like say some like sexual shit, no problem. That's when you say, yeah, you have nice tits. That's when it's actually well received. But when it's with a woman that you've never interacted with in that way, like at all, even if it's a woman that you've had sex with but you're not currently literally having sex with, these type of comments make you seem like a fucking weirdo. I do want to explain like how to do dirty talking, because I'm not gonna lie, like I like that shit. I like saying like sexual stuff when it's like the right time and I know it's gonna be well received. So only continue watching this if you're over 18. Promise? The way that I go about speaking sexually, I have learned from experience to never really even hint at like sexual activity between you and the woman up until you are quite literally like about to have sex, or even before. Honestly, even at that point it can be like risky in the sense that if you slightly bring up sex with a woman that you're about to have sex with for the first time, sometimes they can be made to feel uncomfortable with that, and it's like you suddenly see them snap and they're like, no, we're not having sex. I'm not having sex with you. The time to dirty talk, the time to speak sexually is quite literally when your dick is inside of her. At that point it's like you have the pass to kind of say what you, of course you might even overdo it, you might speak like a dumbass, but at that point generally most of the things that a normal like healthy type of person would want to say, and even not even healthy, honestly, you can have like dark triad traits, you can be like a bad person and everything and it's still kind of sexy in a way, that's generally acceptable. Up until then, up until that point, I don't even like hint towards sex. I don't even like say anything towards it, especially not online, especially not on text. Because trust me when I say, that is almost never well received. Even if there's a woman that I've had sex with once or twice, honestly, I still won't ever really dirty talk or like say anything sexual through text or through the phone or anything. Unless if I'm like literally with this girl, and of course at that point, it's almost like that established thing between you two that you're down to whenever you want and you can say like whatever the you want to each other. Apart from in that type of sexual relationship, keep that to yourself. Because like I said, if you just want to think about your own sort of success, right, all you're doing is just shooting yourself in the foot. If you're a better person than just thinking about being selfish and thinking about yourself, you also just ruin someone's fucking day. Do not make some innocent person feel uncomfortable just because you have fucked up mental health. That's what the Jeffreys do. Scroll down right now and share this video to a Jeffrey friend who needs it and see what his response is going to be. Do the hard work, especially when you don't feel like it. Mwah.